Hey, Maine First Media followers, I'm your host, Sean Ross Still, and welcome to the Surgeon General's Warning. Here's something that's got me a little agitated this week. If you've been following what's been going on here in Waterville, Marc-Andre has proposed a petition to bring the mill rate down. He's been canvassing the streets, collecting signatures, so that we could pass it to council and council could pass it on to Colby so that we could ask if they would be willing to donate $15 million over a 5-year period so that we could bring down the mill rate here in our town. So, yesterday rolls around. Town meeting was at 7 o'clock. Probably got a call, I don't know, a little after 8 from Mark. Come to find out, Waterville City Council shot down the petition that the residents of Waterville put together. Yes, Mark went and did the footwork and got these signatures. I was able to catch up with Mark, and this is what Mark had to say.
Well, it was a disappointing meeting last night, Sean. I mean, the Waterville Council had a chance to really open up a dialogue on this issue over how we can constructively solve the mill rate problem in Waterville that's been driving away business for a long time.
It's not just business, it's homes too.
Homeowners in particular, new homeowners are what creates business for an area. And the mill rate problem has become so restrictive that places like Sydney are getting 35 new building permits, whereas Waterville stands around 7, 8, 9, and we're lagging behind all the other towns in the surrounding area in terms of the new home construction here in Waterville. It was really an opportunity for the City Council to open this dialogue with the colleges. We recognize the colleges have done a lot and continue to do a lot for the community, which is why we were hoping they would be willing to have this discussion. And, really, it was a simple request we're making of the colleges to go to their donor network and to open up a dialogue with those donors and alumni. And as part of that, that would include any hospitals, nonprofits in Waterville that wanted to participate through Colby College and their donor network to contribute to a plan to lower taxes in Waterville, help residents and help spur business and economic growth in the area. And that plan was said no to by the council. And really the question I think Waterville residents should ask is why would the council and the college administrations want to obstruct a simple request to access their donor network to see if they're willing to contribute to this plan? That was all we were asking.
Exactly.
So the nice thing is, Sean, in November we're going to seat a new city council. So we're going to continue to collect signatures on our petition, and when the new city council is seated, we will hand that petition to them and give them the same opportunity to open this discussion with the colleges. We want this to be a constructive discussion. We don't want criticisms of the college. We're asking for them to contribute, to invest in our
exactly.
community.
And I think that's what's been a little misconstrued is it's some people have made it so that the outlook of the petition may have been a tax, and that's one thing we really have to get out into the community and let Colby know that no, this was not an effort to tax Colby.
No, there's no effort whatsoever at this point to try and tax the colleges or any of the other nonprofits.
Right.
We're simply stating a fact that we have a mill rate problem. For 8-10 years now, people have been asking the state to help fix this problem, and it hasn't happened. How much longer can we afford to wait? I would love to be able to tell you as a state legislative candidate that I can go to Augusta and fix it. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll try to argue for revenue sharing or for some type of distressed municipality fund. Places like Madison could really use it, and Waterville. But there's no guarantee. There's 149 other legislators, and I can guarantee you that legislators from Portland have no interest whatsoever in Waterville's tax problem. But we have the capacity to solve this problem right here in Waterville. We have 2 colleges, 2 hospitals, large nonprofits. We have a tremendous amount of resources here in Waterville, and if we work constructively together, we could fix this problem here and send our legislators to Augusta to tell everyone we fixed the problem and we're open for business. We're open for new residents. We're open for new businesses to come here. Open, start a family. It's what we're really aiming for, is this positive interaction with the colleges, the nonprofits in our community to form a partnership going forward. And that's probably the most unfortunate part of that meeting, is that there was an adversarial tone to it, which is not a tone that I created. And the only tone that I want to have with the colleges and the people that we're trying to have this dialogue with is that we have a problem we need to work constructively together to fix.
Exactly.
Well, you know, one of the criticisms of the petition is that, you know, there's only 1,071 signatures only. But what I can tell you is that those signatures, aside from about 150 to 200, which were either online or collected as I met people on the north end of town that were from the south end, are all from the north end of the town, which is only about 1/3 of the voting population of Waterville. In short, only about 20 to 25% of the town has even been canvassed to obtain those 1,000 signatures. And if you run that out, we're talking about almost half the residents in Waterville that feel this way.
Yeah, it's not like people are trying to portray where you are trying to make some political finagle some political thing so that you can win a run.
This is about a real problem, and if I can't raise a real problem as a candidate for office, what am I supposed to talk about?
Exactly.
And this is a real problem confronting residents that we're trying to provide a solution to that can be worked out here in Waterville, because it's going to be very difficult to solve in Augusta. The other legislators have made it clear over 8 years that they have no interest in solving. So, you know, what I can tell you with the petition, as I've gone door to door with it, is the people signing this petition, along with myself, are very grateful for the investments Colby has made in the community. And
they just feel like the rest of the community is going to be left behind. What we're trying to say is that, you know, this tax problem isn't going away, and we want to accelerate the growth in our community by controlling the mill rate, and there's no one else to turn to for help within our community other than Colby is the largest contributor to the existing revitalization plan. And it's why we asked Colby to spearhead this effort and involve any of the donors, including nonprofits in Waterville, that would be willing to participate, to see if the funds might be available. If they're not, well, we have nowhere to go. In other words, if there's no willingness to contribute to this, well, we have nowhere to go with it. But if there is, we could fix this problem starting tomorrow. Exactly.
And if we don't ask, we'll never know.
Exactly. That's what it boils down to, is just asking.
And, you know, and it's really why I don't understand the decision on the part of the current city council or the college administrations to obstruct the effort, because it's really a simple request, and if there's no willingness to participate on the part of their donor network, well, then we'll have to look somewhere else. But it would be nice to find out if that's an option first.
Right. And that's what I was going to get into, was talking about how I believe that residents need to start looking into council that's running for this upcoming election. Make sure you do a little bit of research. Figure out who the new candidates are. See if they support Mark's petition. Or
more importantly, see if they support an effort to make the city a better
place. And that's what it...
And we have, you know, there's the city councils councilors will be coming around to meet you. And my suggestion to the Waterville residents is just to ask them some tough questions about how they perceive taxes in Waterville and what they perceive the solution to be. If they tell you revenue sharing, it simply won't work.
Not the solution.
And it's important I support revenue sharing, because I'll support anything that brings taxes down for Waterville residents, but it won't fix the tax difference between us in Augusta, us in Oakland, us in Sydney. It'll bring us to 23 mil. All the rest of those towns will be between 14 and 17 mil after revenue sharing, and we're still 6 points high. And how can you compete with that? Whether you like it or not, we're still in a free market economy. Now, another thing that hasn't been talked about is opportunity zones. This was part of the 2017 federal tax cuts. What our opportunity zone does is it allows investors to roll gains from say a project in New York or wherever that project exists. They can come buy a structure in Waterville And if they hold it for 10 years, they pay no capital gains on the investment. It's a tremendous incentive provided by the federal government so that local governments don't have to provide the incentive.
Right.
So we could have businesses coming here or residents coming here to apartment complexes, renovating old buildings downtown with this program. And the nice thing about it is Waterville doesn't have to incentivize it. It's already done by the federal government, and all we have to do is collect tax dollars. But right now there is one that started in Augusta because their mill rate is lower and it's a more attractive business environment for the long-term investor.
Exactly, because that's the first thing any landlord that's coming into the area to look to buy property, maybe to open an apartment building or an apartment complex, the first thing they ask is, what's the mill rate?
Of course.
And then they find out and they move on.
And more importantly, where is the mill rate projected to go? Which, from all projections I hear next year, Waterville's mill rate
is going up.
27 to 29 mil from 25. How do you sell that type of a problem to residents looking to move here or businesses?
Exactly.
And it's really a shame because with all the wonderful things Colby has done downtown, we could really be growing the economy in Waterville and growing our way out of this tax problem.
Right. My biggest fear is Colby's going to come in and they've done this huge, beautiful revitalization, and the efforts of it are just
could go to waste.
Exactly. That's what I'm afraid of happening.
And right now, all over the country, real estate markets are growing. So of course, Waterville's market's improving, but it's not improving fast enough. And the danger is, you know, real estate always goes in cycles.
Right.
And they don't last forever. When you have rising property values, there will be a setback. And if we don't address this problem now and begin to grow out of this tax problem now,
where are we going to be?
With the rising real estate market, where are we going to be if there's a real estate crash?
Exactly.
And I've talked to so many people around town that say if this mill rate goes up one more time, we're just going to have to sell our house, cut our losses, and move. And that can be a real detriment to your real estate market also when you have that many homes come on the market for tax reasons. And a tax policy that doesn't incentivize residents to come here, it's a recipe for a bad real estate market or a stagnant real estate market. And, you know, you'll hear numbers coming out of different places, Colby, and, you know, there's all these different numbers, but the number that matters most is that in 2008, the average price of a home in Waterville was $115,000. In 2017, it was $112,000. So we are or have been in a real estate recession that we're only now beginning to come out of. The new homes being built in Sydney, when I asked the town manager what the average price was, they're between $225,000 and $275,000.
Really? Wow.
And, you know, up alongside of an average price in Waterville of half that. And we have so much room to grow value in our town.
And that's
And for $15 million that it would take to bring our tax rate down to a competitive level for 5 years, why in the world wouldn't we ask the colleges and ask them to participate in a revitalization plan for the whole town? This is not a threat to tax. It's not a criticism of Colby. It's just a statement of the reality in town, which is we have a mill rate that's too high.
Exactly.
And our options are limited as to who we can ask to fix it. And we simply want to ask these colleges. So we're going to continue to collect signatures on this petition. And when there's a new seated council, hopefully that represents the interest of Waterville residents more so than the current council, we're going to present that petition and ask them to forward it on and begin this discussion. So I would encourage everyone in Waterville to take a hard look at your councilors, take a look at who you're voting for and what their plan is to solve Waterville's tax problem, and make sure that you vote for somebody that will have a plan to fix it, or at least will be willing to ask for the help that's needed to fix it.
Right.
And Sean, thank you very much for having me on today.
Definitely. Thank you, Mark. So now that you've heard it from the horse's mouth, as they say, what are residents left to do? Well, I guess we got to start from square one. Square one means we got to bring in new people. So, come this election term for council, you need to ask them if they have any ideas on how to bring down the property tax issue here in Waterville. Chances are they'll say no. So then, ask them this question. Do you support Mark Andre's petition? If they say yes, then we have a viable candidate, in my opinion. So, that's got me a little irked. One thing that we need to know is the petition is still ongoing. It's not ending. So Mark will be able to continue to collect signatures from Watervillians to support this cause, because Colby College sold residents the outlook of, we want to build this great community. This great community! Well, Waterville residents say, hey, yeah, we can get behind that. So, they draw up plans, and Colby starts expanding. Well, all of a sudden, Watervillians' property tax rates keep going up. Though we're supposed to be working here together. Wait a minute, you're building businesses. Isn't business supposed to bring down that type of stuff? You would think. No. Not with a 501c. So, Colby College is exempt from property taxes. But this is how they're arguing the fact of the issue. They're trying to say that the endowment is enough to cover what the property taxes would be. Well, I don't think it's enough. Because you gotta look at it this way. Any other company or business or entity wanted to do what Colby College has done, they would have to pay full taxes on it. So, like Mark has been saying, this is not a tax. This is a revitalization stimulus plan. It's only 5 years. Imagine the benefits that will come out of it for Colby. One of my biggest fears is Colby has built these beautiful buildings. They're great, yes, they look wonderful. They're a great addition to the town. 5 years from now, mill rate keeps climbing. All of a sudden, all the homes that are supposed to have people in them no longer have people in them. How valuable and liable or useful are those businesses that they've built now, or the buildings that they've built that they could put businesses in? How does that help if there's no one here to access it? So, come election, we got to put people like Mark Andre. We need to get him to Augusta, because at least the guy has an idea. Nobody else does. So, I don't know. It's just, it's continuously growing, and not in a good way. Mark told me, you know, he's run a few times, as some of you know and have read and whatnot. But he said one thing to me that stuck out. He goes to see these people that he tries to get, like when he's out working the streets trying to get support. He said, I run into the same people that I ran into 4 years ago, or whatever it was when he first started running. Well, he says, the people I talk to, you know, they're not doing any better than they were when I first talked to them. They're doing worse. So, I understand that, yes, Colby's done a lot for Waterville. But now, we gotta look at the big picture. Okay? You continue to drive down the mill rate. Okay? All of a sudden, you don't have the base that you thought you were gonna have. Because if they're not here to pay the property taxes, who's gonna pay for the streets to be plowed? See, this is the stuff that they're not thinking of. And it wasn't like they were asking much. They just, it's not like Mark Andre was asking much, and the residents. We just wanted council to pass it on. I mean, the worst that would have happened is the college says no. But now we won't know. So that's why I say what we can do as Waterville residents. We're going to have to look forward to electing people that are going to listen to the residents. Because this council we have sitting right now, they don't care. They don't care. They got better things on their agenda, apparently. So, you let me know what you think. Thanks for checking out the Surgeon General's Warning. I'm your host, Sean Ross Still. And remember, come back next week and subscribe to Maine First Media's newsletter. That way you can get the latest and greatest.